previously in executive session and are now in our regular session. I'd like to call the public portion of our meeting to order. Please stand for a moment of silence. Mr. Snyder, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to all of our visitors. Our first portion of our meeting, I would just like to read the public participation reminder if anybody wishes to sign up. Persons wishing to address the board must sign up prior to the start of the public participation, which comes a little bit later in our agenda. Speakers must register on the form provided by the district at the entrance of the boardroom to maintain a first-come, first-served process. For purposes of following up with speakers, the speakers must provide their name, address, telephone number, and/or email address. To limit comments to matters which may be properly discussed during public participation, the speakers will provide the topic. Any group or organization wishing to address the board must identify a single spokesperson. In the event of an emergency, everyone please follow the exit signs to the outside of the building. Please stay completely clear of the building to provide space for any emergency vehicles. Thank you. Item 2, approval of our agenda. I need a motion to approve this evening's agenda.
So moved.
Dr. Parks?
Brian.
Mr. Adams, thank you. Are there any questions or comments about our agenda this evening? Seeing as there are none, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? The motion is carried. Item 3, superintendent updates. Dr. Terranova.
Thank you, Mrs. Mitchell, and happy Veterans Day to all our veterans, specifically Adam Snyder on our Board of Education, and certainly congratulate the incredible accomplishment of Lieutenant General retired Kirk Pierce, who will be honored in just a few minutes for being inducted into the Graduate of Distinction group, and it's a fantastic honor, and we're looking forward to that. Also, thank you to Mark Panis for the nomination of Kirk. I just want to talk briefly about partnerships. It's been a theme all year, and especially groups helping one another and districts helping the community in terms of support. It's really important that we are supportive of our community for 2 reasons, mainly to teach our kids authentic ways to promote traits such as empathy and caring for others. These traits, along with some of the other critical skills of self-awareness, social awareness, self-management, resiliency, and decision-making, are not separate from academics that we teach. They are combined to support academics, and it's really important that we keep teaching, especially empathy and caring. Also, when we have partnerships that support our families and our community, it's important because we have our own families who need that support. This community has approximately 1,200 students right now out of the 4,200 who qualify for free and reduced lunch. That's more students that could fill our entire auditorium. So we do have families in need, especially for food and support during this time, and we estimate that the need might be even greater than that. Why am I talking about that? Because I want to highlight a couple of the partnerships that the community has with our district and the district has with the community that support all of our families. First of all, I just want to thank the breakfast and lunch food service crew. They do that critically important job every morning and every noon time, basically, during the week, and they support the feeding of our kids. Like I said, over 4,200 of them every day, and we couldn't be successful without them. Some of the leadership groups I want to celebrate: 4th, 5th, and 6th grade student council. They've collected things for birthday bags for The Spot, which is the organization that is directly aligned with our district to support families who need not only materials but food. They've also supported the food cupboard. They also work with the Victor Farmington Food Cupboard for the Thanksgiving food drive as well, and they support the Salvation Army. The junior high school has the Go Green Garden Club that's grows and provides food for local groups, and also the student council at the junior high shifted their focus this year to support local food cupboards and The Spot. At the senior high, we have so many groups that are supporting our community. The CARES Club, DECA, Key Club, National Honor Society, and Student Council are consistently helping others with a strong focus on supporting local food cupboards and The Spot this year. And it doesn't factor in the countless volunteer hours that these groups do, as well as our athletes and our musicians and our robotics team as they participate in community support and community involvement throughout the year. Also want to shout out our amazing staff. We have the yearly Holiday Giving Tree Project to support families and holiday gifts, and that's an amazing project that happens, again, every year. It's going on right now. They have Stuff the Bus, where our transportation department does this to donate paper products and other items to the local food cupboard and The Spot. That's occurring actually in the next couple of weeks. It's called Stuff the Bus. Again, our transportation department volunteers on a Saturday to do that, and everything goes to The Spot and the local food cupboard. Want to give a shout out to Chelsea Shaw, who is the VTA Community Connections chairperson, who organizes much of the community outreach for the Victor Teachers Association. They do 3 major events a year: a big fundraiser for the food cupboard in the fall, a raffle to benefit the Serenity House in the winter, and they set up a table to allow kids to plant seeds that they can grow and watch that they can grow into plants in the spring, and do some heavy support for our CARES Carnival. So I missed a variety of groups. I apologize, but I just wanted to make sure people understand how much work our school community is doing to support our own community, especially those families in need right now. And the point is that our school is a community, and we're trying to make this community the strongest it can be. So thank you to everyone who is doing the extra effort to help others and show empathy. That's my superintendent's update.
Thank you, Dr. Terranova. We are moving on to item 4, presentations and recognitions. As most of you know, earlier this week, we celebrated Veterans Day, a time for us to pay our respects to those who have served our country. For one day, we stand united in respect for our veterans. The Veterans Day holiday started as a day to reflect upon the heroism of those who died in our country's service, and was originally called Armistice Day. It fell on November 11th because that is the anniversary of the signing of the armistice that ended World War I. However, bless you, in 1954, the holiday was changed to Veterans Day to account for all veterans in all wars. VCS has many veterans. This year, as in years past, our communication department reached out to all staff, asking for them to submit their years of service and photos for recognition on social media and here tonight on this presentation. While not all our VCS veterans chose to participate in this recognition, I believe that those who did represent all our veterans in their commitment to our country. In the words of former President Harry S. Truman, our debt to the heroic men and valiant women in the service of our country can never be repaid. They have earned our undying gratitude. America will never forget their sacrifices. Please take the next few moments to silently reflect on not only our VCS veterans, but all veterans. Thank you. And very fittingly, tonight we are very pleased to have our Graduate of Distinction presentation, and I would like to turn it over to Mr. Adams to introduce our recipient for this year. Mr. Adams.
So good evening, everyone. As the board representative on the 2025 Graduates of Distinction Committee, it is truly my honor and frankly one of the easiest yes assignments I've received all year. I'm here to help kick off the recognition of this year's graduate of distinction, retired Lieutenant General Kirk Pierce, proud member of the VCS class of 1984. Kirk was nominated by his classmate and friend, Mr. Mark Panis, who decided that after 40 years of knowing Kirk, it was finally time to make it official. Yes, he really is that impressive. Once you hear Kirk's story from his extraordinary military leadership to his impactful business career, to his remarkable philanthropic efforts, you'll see why Kirk embodies the word distinction. The Graduates of Distinction program was created to recognize Victor alumni who have achieved excellence in their careers, service, families, communities, and personal lives, and to share their journeys as a source of inspiration for current and future students. It's our way of showing every student who walks these halls that greatness can start right here, and clearly in Kirk's case, it did. Tonight, we're thrilled to celebrate a graduate whose life's work reflects honor, service, generosity, and a level of achievement that would make any school district proud. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce Kirk's classmate, friend, and nominator, class of 1984 alumnus, Mr. Mark Panis.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to be here tonight to introduce Kirk, a friend and classmate who, as we all know, is recently retired from the United States Air Force as a lieutenant general. So what's a lieutenant general anyway? Well, that means of the approximately 500,000 airmen and women in the Air Force and Air National Guard in any given year, Kirk was one of only about 33 people to hold that rank of a three-star general. So at the time he left active duty. So that's quite a journey from the halls of Victor High School and Victor Central Schools. So his journey began when he left to go to Notre Dame. He was on an ROTC scholarship there, graduated with a degree in aerospace engineering, kind of fits with his career path, received his Air Force commission, became an instructor pilot. Next up was flying F-16s, becoming a fighter pilot and being posted here, there, and everywhere. Moving up the ranks in fighter squadrons and various commands in the Air Force and the Air National Guard. Throughout his career, I think it's in the summary of the program, he's flown nearly 5,000 hours, completed over 70 combat missions, and his service includes Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. So our senior military commanders are not only well-trained, they're well-educated, and Kirk's no different. He earned a master's degree from the National War College, completed exec ed courses at Syracuse, MIT, and Harvard. So let's fast forward in his career and shorten this here. So 2020, 8 promotions later after starting out, his final posting was as commander of, and it's a mouthful, the Continental U.S. North American Aerospace Defense Command, AKA NORAD, and then simultaneously commander of the 1st Air Force. And in that role, he was responsible for the health and welfare of several 100,000 airmen and women, and a budget measured in billions of dollars with a B. And he also helped oversee the formation of what is today known as the United States Space Force. He served all over the country and the world, from South Korea to Iraq, to Arizona, to the Pentagon and Washington, D.C. He's got more military medals and ribbons on his chest in his uniform than you can count, but, among them includes the Purple Heart. He's testified in front of congressional committees. He's tracked and shot down Chinese weather balloons. He's even overseen NORAD's annual Santa tracker, so he's literally done it all in his career. As was mentioned earlier, Tuesday was Veterans Day, and it's a perfect fit that Kirk's being recognized by his alma mater this week. He could have done anything, but he chose to serve our country and do so with distinction in the Air Force for 35 or so years. Since retiring, he hasn't really slowed down much. He's flying internationally as a commercial airline pilot, consulting, serving on the board of the Civil Air Patrol, and still managing to cheer on Old Notre Dame. On a personal level, he's someone I know to be a great son, husband, and father. His mother, Pat, is here with us tonight, and I know his late father, Doug, is looking down with pride. Together, they raised a good man. Christy, his wife, is also here with us tonight. She's the one who held things down on the home front with their 3 kids, while Kirk was deployed on increasingly larger assignments throughout his career. She also carried the ever-increasing responsibility for the spouses and families under his command along the way. So without a doubt, she's the brains of the operation. And then I'd like to say that I was not the only one who thought of nominating Kirk for this award. Another classmate and Air Force veteran, Kevin Santone, also submitted his name. So either way, Kirk was going to get this award. That's really his career in a nutshell. So without further ado, I'd like to call on Superintendent Dr. Tim Terranova to present Kirk with the award. Thanks.
Thank you so much. So, Kirk, where are you? I was being entertained with some amazing stories by Lieutenant General Pierce earlier. That's why the meeting was a little late. So I hope you tell some when you talk. But I want to say, before I give this to you, thank you for obviously your service, your incredible service to the nation. Secondly, thank you for being such an amazing role model for thousands and thousands of kids that have graduated from Victor since you did in, I believe, 1984. Yeah, you're an incredible role model, an incredible person to be able to put out there and say this is what you can be. And lastly, thank you for your service today and talking to our kids at the high school. I wish I could have spent more time with you, but I was lucky to spend a little bit of time and listen to the message you send to the kids. And I love the fact that you told kids to pursue your dreams and don't put too much pressure on yourself. Things are going to work out. And it was just a great message from somebody who's achieved so much. So without further ado, I want to present the Victor Central School District Graduate of Distinction to Lieutenant General Retired Kirk Tick Pierce, inducted November 13th, 2025. Congratulations.
Thank you. Sorry for the cold hands. You're looking for a picture.
Can I get a picture of you?
My wife knows this act. It's easier for me if I stand away from the microphone. So I know you guys get your business, so but I want to take your time to say thank you. Thank you so much, Superintendent. Thank you for the recognition. Really appreciate it. I have some sympathy for you running boards. So getting people to say a second and then me going, okay, do I need a second for this, or can I do a motion? If there's not need a motion, so good on you. Thank you for doing that for Victor. The baseline that you all set. The board looking at what's the strategy, what are we doing, how are we doing the school is very important. As a taxpayer, I'm in Colorado, but for my New York taxpayers that are here, they hopefully understand what you all do to teach the student members. It's really important. Keep them honest and don't let the old people fool you. But pay attention and ask me questions. Make them actually do their homework and I'm sure they are. Thank you so much for the recognition. My mom is able to be here, I wish my dad was. Thank you for just being wonderful parents. Putting up with my act, and my friends are here from 1984, so there's quite a few of them around here, some family friends. So thank you again for making it out. And you're right, Mark, the brains of the family over there, my wife, Christy. If you don't know, if you get to talk to her, she's born and bred and lived her whole life in Denver, Colorado. She has 7 brothers. That's why she can really put up with my act and all my friends. Whether they're fighter pilots or not, it somehow figures out that my high school friends, my Notre Dame friends, my flying friends, and even now when I'm back working in industry and working at United, they all tend to be the same kind of people. Slightly obnoxious, slightly opinionated, and who like to talk, and she can put up with all of them. So it's very nice that she stuck with me. I think it's the whole seven brother things, and she has no fear of punching me. Or she just reminded me in the brains, I am the 4-star. Because when I pinned on my 3rd star, they go, spouses, you're one rank above your husband or your wife. And I'm like, oh, this is bad. So, still is, because she just reminded me of that. And Mr. Conant, thanks for being here. I will say one thank you more, and that's to the school, Victor. So I went kindergarten through the beginning of 6th grade here, and we moved to Florida back in the later 70s. Moved back here. We used to live out in Farmington, then lived in Victor, right over in Bow Ridge. And so I was back for my sophomore through senior year here. So the baseline that the school gave me here, I'm still proud of, and I'm very proud of Victor Central School, the system going through it, and what it helped me to get to, and where it helped me to go. So for people who don't understand that, every school is not the same. There's significant differences and challenges, but Victor's done it really well. I really knew Victor was on the map, not just my own bias and sympathy for, hey, I went to school there, so it's got to be good. When we lived down in Annapolis and our kids played lacrosse and football and soccer, Victor's school started showing up down in Annapolis. I'm like, well, my son plays for the Hawks, they're pretty good, And the Victor lacrosse at the time was really coming up. And then after that, this was like in 2012, they were down. We were at the Notre Dame National Championship. They lost in 14 Institute. And they lost again 2 years later. Not that I hold a grudge or anything, but dude. But I will say, Victor not only good in sports, but not academically well respected. So I believe that's part of the reason why I got into Notre Dame, just because of the education that was here and the teachers stuff that were just really good teachers who cared. So if you can say anything to the board, to the rest of the school when you get an opportunity, please give them my thank you. It's really, you guys do great work, and the school, to me, has a soft spot in my heart because they were really good. For my family, we got 3 kids, so they've kind of put up with this and moved around a lot. We have a daughter who's working at Disney World, a son who's a captain in the Air Force, Air Force Special Operations Command over in England, and our youngest son just graduated from grad school at Auburn, so he's in Columbia, South Carolina working. So none of them followed my footsteps in the fighter world, but they're all serving, doing their thing, and doing great stuff for America. That a lot of people don't. You have a detachment and a squadron here in Rochester. So everybody, if you do know Civil Air Patrol, you think about it as flying, but it's a volunteer organization, 501(c)(3). All of you pay for it, taxpayers. So it's government funded. We have our own philanthropic side for the foundation, which actually is the only thing that's got us through the government shutdown. We had no money, but we're going to do our own foundation stuff. But there's 71,000 people across the United States, including outside the United States. There's a squadron I didn't know until I got on the board. There's a squadron in Japan, there's one in Germany, obviously in the Marianas, Guam, Virgin Islands, so Puerto Rico, so the non-states and some of the territories in the United States. And of those 71,000 people who volunteer, we're pretty lean, only about 182 full-time people that are either part-time or full-time paid staff, and they do great things with kids. And again, everybody kind of gets stuck on the Civil Air Patrol is a flying piece. It has the largest Cessna fleet, 560 aircraft in the world, but they have the largest small unmanned aerial system, drones, in the United States, and they are phenomenal in cyber. So if you have any kids that are thinking about, hey, I need something else in my life, and I'm just trying to pad my resume, Civil Air Patrol does great stuff. In the state, emergency management response here in New York, ice storms, rain, water, flooding, any of that kind of stuff. And then also, if we ever need to be on the Air Force Auxiliary, we do a lot of missions for the Air Force and augment them, and it's all volunteer. And they do things that I couldn't do in the military. It would be called collecting, and against Title 10 U.S. Code 130I, Title 10, and you go to jail if you say words like that. They can do it because they're volunteer civilians, so they can triangulate and find you if you're all in the Appalachians and you have a cell phone. They have contracts with other companies and they can do that stuff. So they go out and fly, they send people in, they teach you how to rappel. They got cats who can work on cyber, work through everything, not just like IT stuff. And they're really good at it. So if you see an opportunity for that, please push people that way. Why I kind of pontificate and talk about that is when I go and meet with these kids, and I talked a little bit about before with a few of you. Like I was just in Minnesota for our board meeting. We meet 3 times a year in person. And there was a girl there in Minnesota. She's 16, homeschooled. She's in her 2nd year of the University of Minnesota. She's going to get a 3-year degree in something engineering, I can't even say it. And she's trying to figure out, when she graduates, do I want to go into that and go into the biosciences, or do I want to be a nun? I'm like, well, those are nice options, kind of a separate way. And she got up in front of a group like this, and we're all sitting in her board, and there's all the hang-arounds that are there, and all the people in staff and supporters and everything else. Articulate, to the point, no ums, no uhs, no and asked a question, great response, it wasn't canned, it was well thought out, could lead into kind of formation. I'm like, if you could transfer that to all of our politicians, generals, flag officers, we'd be fine. Because it just puts a lot of faith when people talk. You know, my kids make fun of me as a boomer. I'm not a boomer. I'm an ex, but they, whatever. It's fun to say it to my face and watch me spin. But I go out and see these kids, and a lot of people in our generation or around us, you know, why are these kids doing that? Why do that? They don't know this, they don't know that. They're too much on the phone, they're too much. And if you go and see them, which you all have the opportunity to do it, they're like, you are so far from the truth. I mean, you guys are acting like, get off my lawns, kid. And like, you know, just go meet them, talk to them. And I'm sure there's some that are just stuck in TikTok and read Reddit and believe everything that comes out in a conspiracy theory. But most of the ones I interact with are just phenomenal. And that's why when I was asked to come back, sorry it took so long. I would have liked to have made it earlier, but this worked really well to come back and see my mom. And I had a few things going on before this, but I really do appreciate it. I appreciate what you're giving back to the next generation. I appreciate you guys being on the board and taking care of these people, keeping them straight. And as we go forward, please keep doing it. It means a lot. And I know people serve for different reasons. For all of you that can have an opportunity to serve as a volunteer, it gives back more than it takes. I know you all know that, and I'm probably preaching to the choir, but thank you for doing it. Again, thank you for the recognition. If there's anything else y'all want to know, then I'm more than happy to talk. My wife says I like to talk too much. So I don't know what happened to this guy because he used to have hair, but he might have been skinnier, and that's why she married me, but he's got those. Thank you again, really.
Thank you so much for those words, too, and for the commitment of coming back and meeting with our students and sharing your experience. Thank you very much. Prior to public participation, in the spirit of Thanksgiving, I just wanted to take this opportunity to recognize our board colleagues, our student reps, the district office leadership team, building leadership, and all of our faculty and staff at Victor Central Schools. It really is a truly remarkable place to serve and to have our children attend. So in the spirit of Thanksgiving, I just wanted to express that gratitude. On to item 5, public participation. Although the board's work is open to the public, this is not a meeting with the public. At this time, privilege of the floor is offered to those who have signed up to speak. The chair will be happy to recognize those of you who wish to speak. When you approach the microphone, please identify yourself before presenting your thoughts. Individual comments will be limited to 3 minutes, and the total time for this portion of the agenda will be limited to 30 minutes total. Please note, issues related to specific school district personnel or students must be brought to the attention of the superintendent of schools privately, as they are not discussable at this venue. Thank you. And I would like to invite Chris to the podium.
Dunphy.
Dunphy, thank you. Welcome. Good evening.
Good evening. Chris Dunphy, resident in Farmington for the past 23 years. So thank you for allowing me to speak before the board. This is not my first time here. I was here about 18 months ago and spoke before the board to point out I mentioned special ed on the sign-in sheet, and I'll elaborate on that. When I was here 18 months ago, I had entered a Freedom of Information request to look into how many students had been suspended in the, I believe at that point, the 23-24 academic year, or at least most of the way through it. And unfortunately came to find the facts state themselves that over 50% of, in most grades, those students that were suspended, out of school suspensions, were either had an IEP or a 504, which would designate them as special needs students. I hoped when I entered a new Freedom of Information request last month with the district to find that there had been progress made. And unfortunately, I got that information today and am here because, frankly, I don't see much progress made. I believe, and I said at the time, that I think the administrations and administrators have a difficult time, perhaps lack of training, of understanding the needs of special needs students and therefore assessing appropriate punishments for those students who may be ill-equipped to understand their actions. When I put in a new request, now we're not far into this school year, right? And that's what I asked for. I will be back. I did ask for last year's 24-25 information. I also take off my glasses when I read, just unfortunately that age. I hope to just take a few minutes to go by most of these grades where there have been suspensions, and out of school suspensions.
Chris, you have about 50 seconds left. I just want,
right.
So to make the most of your time.
Sure. In grade 2, 3 of 3 students, 3 students suspended, 3 students had IEPs and 504s. In the intermediate school, in the 5th grade, 2 student suspensions, 1 with an IEP, so we're at 50%. In the 6th grade, there have been 4 out-of-school suspensions year to date. All 4 of those students have an IEP. In the 7th grade, in the junior high, frankly in the junior high, every out-of-school suspension has had a IEP or 504. There have been 3 in grade 7, 3 in grade 8, 3 had a special ed IEP or 504, same in 8th grade. In the senior high, in 9th grade, 50%, 2 suspensions, 1 special needs student. In the 10th grade, 7 out-of-school suspensions, 2 of those had an IEP or a 504. And in the 11th grade, all 4 out-of-school suspensions have an IEP or a 504. And in the 12th grade, the only out-of-school suspension has an IEP or a 504. You are the board. They work for you. Your job is to have this information and make sure it's acting appropriately. I came 18 months later hoping to have much better to report to you on this, and here we are, 100% of most of these grades where there are suspensions, 100% of the students are special needs, yet getting sent to out-of-school suspension. I respectfully request that you act. It's not just me just coming up here to pontificate. I did get a nice email from y'all after the last meeting. That's not action. We need to have better training for staff and administrators so that they can make appropriate actions. And that's what I task you with. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Chris. Okay, we're moving on to item 6, an acceptance of consent items. Are there any questions about items A through J before we proceed?
I want to recognize as part of the personnel agenda the retirement of Deb Palisano, who's been a teacher aide for 17 amazing years at the junior high school. And in her retirement letter, we are thankful that she actually put a sentence in there saying she's willing to sub. But she does an amazing job, and I just want to congratulate her on influencing so many kids at the junior high.
Thank you. Can I please have a motion to accept consent items A through J?
One other thing too, just to note, the gratitude to Sue Ann Gerstoff in honor of Leola Wilson with the donation to the music department and that generosity.
And item E, thank you, Dr. Parks. Any other comments before we look for a motion? Okay. May I please have a motion to accept consent items A through J?
So moved.
Dr. Parks, can I please have a second? Mr. Snyder? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried. Item 7A, campus news. Looks like we're starting with Mr. DeRose for the Early Childhood School.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Rob DeRose, the principal at the Early Childhood School. I want to share some positive and engaging activities that have showcased our school and district's supportive community that make us who we are. One of those was the PTSA Popcorn and Pajamas movie night that occurred actually on Monday, the day before Veterans Day. We had students and families come to the school in their jammies, enjoying some popcorn and a night together in our auditorium, watching a movie together. It was a really fun and warm and welcoming environment. We really enjoyed celebrating that with our families and appreciate our PTSA support and volunteers to make this event happen. We just finished up our first community action service project. It's called Scare Away the Chilly Willies, organized by Kim Galena, one of our fabulous kindergarten teachers. Students and classrooms and teachers brought in items that were given to the Center for Youth Services, which is an organization that supports women and children that are going through difficult times. The ECS donated over 20 boxes filled with items like hot chocolate, cookies, granola bars, hats, gloves, socks, and other items that will go directly to those families and children in need as the winter months approach. I want to just give a reminder to our families that parent-teacher conferences are coming up soon in early December. These are important meetings that our families and teachers partner together to collaborate and ensure success academically, socially, emotionally, and behaviorally for all students. Families should sign up for a conference with their child's teacher. We have the Lions Club visiting in early December to provide the students at our ECS and our multi-age classrooms a free eye screening. If they sign up for it, families will receive a permission slip as well as additional information about this opportunity next week. And we're very appreciative to the volunteers from the Lions Club and their commitment to our students, school, and district. Our first school-wide community reads and assembly is happening next week. As a school, we'll be gathering together to identify, recognize, and celebrate what we're thankful for. This special event will bring our students and staff together to share what we're grateful for, to sing our school songs as we enter the season of thanks. Speaking of which, I want to wish the board and our community and my fellow administrators a happy Thanksgiving. And like was mentioned earlier, just grateful for all that we have here in Victor, the teachers, the students, the families. We really make a unique and special district. So thank you.
All right. Good evening. I'm Amanda Byrne. I'm the principal at the primary school. For us at the primary, November has been a month filled with connection and gratitude. We continue to enjoy our whole school read aloud. We also have our second whole school community meeting coming up on November 21st. As a faculty, we continue to prioritize our collaborative learning experiences, focused on implementing new curriculum, using our PLC structure to become increasingly data-informed and responsive to student needs, and using our time together during faculty meetings to learn high-impact instructional practices. This morning, we had Carrie Goodell visiting our November faculty meeting to teach our entire faculty about building thinking classroom practices and how those strategies can be impactful for all teachers, not just teachers of mathematics. It was helpful for us to consider how we can support students with productive struggle, increase engagement, and improving their attentiveness to time on task. Our PPS and related service teams are learning how to utilize Panorama to document student supports and also to progress monitor, which is new to us, so doing this in an increasingly consistent and thoughtful way. Our students are also involved in these engaging shared learning experiences. Today, we welcomed local meteorologist James Gilbert. Students loved hearing firsthand how weather is predicted. They asked insightful questions and explored real-world science in action. It was a memorable experience that energized both students and adults alike, and I hear that our picture will be on the morning news tomorrow bright and early. As we move deeper into fall, our teachers are hard at work preparing progress reports and getting ready for upcoming parent-teacher conferences. These conversations with families are an important opportunity to reflect on every child's progress, celebrate their growth, and partner on next steps to continue to support their continued learning. As always, we remain grateful for our strong partnership with families and the ongoing support they provide at home. November has been a meaningful month at Victor Primary, and we look forward to continuing this work together as we move into the winter season. And I think we got a little snapshot of that excitement this week with our first snow, and a reminder of how special that is to students at this age.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jim Morrow. I'm the principal at the Victor Intermediate School. It's been another exciting and meaningful month at the Intermediate School. On October 29th, our students had the opportunity to participate in a virtual author visit with Chris and JJ Grabenstein, who are the authors of our community read book this year, Shine. Several students were able to ask the authors questions directly, and the Grabensteins shared valuable insights about the perseverance, creativity, and curiosity it takes to be a successful writer, traits that actually align perfectly with the character traits we emphasize at VIS with our students. A special thank you goes out to our librarian, Olivia Schauf, for her organization and leadership in bringing this wonderful experience to our students. Earlier this week, we were proud to host veterans in our classrooms as part of our annual Veterans Day recognition. Students were invited to bring in family members who had served in the armed forces, and these guests shared stories about their service and the meaning of sacrifice, duty, and community. It was a powerful and personal learning experience for our students, and we're grateful to our PTSA and to one of our fourth grade teachers, Alex Kuschel, for their efforts in coordinating this special event. Finally, our teachers and staff continue to deliver high-quality, engaging instruction across all content areas. In a recent science lesson, for example, students explored how buildings are engineered in earthquake-prone regions to withstand seismic activity. Using the engineering and design process, students then collaborated to build and test their own model structures made out of marshmallows and toothpicks. And actually the simulation for the ground was kind of unique. It was made out of Jell-O, and so they shook the tray and the Jell-O moved all around and the structure had to stay up, so there was a lot of competition happening as well. The combination of hands-on learning, teamwork, and problem solving on display was very impressive. Thank you for your continued support of our students, staff, and programs at VIS. I'm actually going to stay up here as well because I'm going to deliver the campus news for the junior high for Principal Brian Gee as well. So as the junior high wraps up their first 10 weeks of the school year, we're excited to celebrate the positive momentum and community spirit that continue to define Victor Junior High. Thank you to our students, staff, and families for helping us launch the year on such a strong note. Also, we wanted to recognize the opening night of the Victor Junior High musical next week. Our talented performers, musicians, and crew members are putting the final touches on this year's musical. We can't wait to welcome families and community members for opening night next week. The Student Council is leading a school-wide food drive to support local families as we head into the holiday season. And then next month, our concert season begins as well. So the Junior High Winter Concert Series kicks off next month. We look forward to showcasing the hard work of our band, orchestra, and chorus students. Last week, we probably recognized School Psychologist Week and celebrated the incredible work of our Victor Junior High School Psych team. Their support, expertise, and commitment to student well-being make a tremendous difference in our school every day. And on November 19th, we are looking forward to welcoming members of the Victor Board of Education to the junior high. This visit provides a great opportunity to highlight programs, showcase student learning, and share the work happening in classrooms across the buildings. And finally, our new teachers have been participating in a unique professional learning experience, spending a day fully immersed in a Victor Junior High student schedule. By shadowing students, they gain valuable insight into the rhythms, challenges, and successes of life in our building. They will share their reflections and takeaways at an upcoming faculty meeting. So thank you for all that you've done for the Victor Junior High as well.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. I'm not Matt Halloran or Keith Pedzik, one of our assistant principals at our senior high school. Unfortunately, they're unable to be here tonight, but I am thankful for the opportunity to share some of the wonderful things happening at Victor Senior High School. As we move deeper into fall, our career counselor, Mrs. Jacobs, and our counseling team have been working tirelessly to support our students in their post-secondary planning. Mrs. Jacobs hosted 41 college application workshops this fall, which were attended by 149 seniors. November 1st marked the early action deadline for many colleges, and I'm proud to share that approximately 56% of our seniors submitted early action applications. Just 3 years ago, that number was closer to 30%. This steady and significant growth speaks to our students' ambition and the exceptional guidance they receive from our counseling team. That momentum continued on November 6th when Mrs. Jacobs and Mrs. Marinas hosted our annual college night, featuring 9 workshops facilitated by representatives from 6 nearby colleges and universities, alongside our PPS team. The 125 families in attendance attended 2 sessions, with offerings tailored to every grade level. It was an outstanding evening of learning, engagement, and preparation for life beyond high school. And we're not done yet. On November 18th, we will host a financial aid workshop led by staff from Finger Lakes Community College. This session will support families in understanding the FAFSA and navigating the often complex world of college financial decision-making. We also have much to celebrate in terms of staff recognition. Mr. Chris Wiest was selected for the University of Chicago's Outstanding Educator Award, an honor given to a small number of educators nationwide who have been nominated by newly admitted students for their profound impact on learning and personal growth. In addition, last week, Mike Guido received a Golden Apple Award after being nominated by 2 students. His caring nature, calm demeanor, and ability to create a safe, welcoming learning environment have made a lasting impact on these students and on so many others throughout the school. Our students have also been shining outside the classroom. Last week, senior musicians from band, choir, and orchestra performed at the Veterans Luncheon at Victor Town Hall. Not only did they provide beautiful music, but they also served cake and spent time speaking with local veterans, thanking them, listening to their stories, and demonstrating the kind of respect and empathy we strive to cultivate in all of our students. Our music teachers deserve special recognition for teaching both musicianship and meaningful interpersonal skills. Finally, our performing arts programs continue to bring energy and creativity to our campus. The cast and crew of the fall play, Too Much Light Makes the Baby Go Blind, 30 plays in 60 minutes, recently delivered a fast-paced, one-of-a-kind production full of humor and audience engagement. And we're already looking forward to next weekend when the junior high production of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory premieres. With more than 80 students involved across cast, crew, and orchestra, ranging from grades 7 through 12, it promises to be a vibrant and truly collaborative production. Performances take place on November 21st at 7 p.m. and on November 22nd at both 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. We hope to see the community there. In every corner of the building, academics, arts, counseling, and student life, our staff and students continue to demonstrate hard work, creativity, and connection. Thank you for your continued support of our programs, our educators, and most importantly, the students. Thank you.
Thank you to our administrators for those campus news updates. Item 7B, Community Partner Group Recommendations. We'll be hearing from Dr. Terranova, Christine Griffin, and some of our community partners.
Thank you, Mrs. Mitchell. And I also want to welcome certainly Christine Griffin, who will be helping me present, and also Dave Tantillo and James Sawyer, who are in the front, who will also be presenting with me. I do want to give just a little bit of context before we talk about the community partners. And very briefly, little context includes a bit of history about Victor. For years and years, we've had stable enrollment, actually years before that, increase in enrollment. Unfortunately, when we've had this stable enrollment, the state aid, which is a huge piece to our revenue, has not kept up with it. The district was shortchanged financial aid for years and years, which led to some significant understaffing in all areas and having one of the lowest per pupil expenditures of any school district in New York State for a period of time. Despite those challenges, the district leadership and staff and faculty, certainly General Pierce can talk about that or talked about that a little bit, did an amazing job to have an outstanding academic achievement and comprehensive school district during that time. Recently, between 21 and 24, the state aid did increase, thankfully, to more appropriate levels. Because of that, we were able to hire close to 65 positions, over half of which were in the special ed realm or supporting students' mental health. And thanks to that staffing increase, as well as the existing faculty and staff that did an amazing job, in the past few years we've seen significant gains, whether it's a significant increase in the special ed graduation rate from 55% to 91%, to the highest participation as well as performance in AP revenue and expenses. The bottom line is our revenue currently is right around 2.5% to 3% increase, and our expenses are increasing somewhere between 5% and 6%, which leads to a gap. It's one of the reasons why the board authorized over $3 million of our fund balance or contingency to be utilized towards this year's budget. Unfortunately, that's not a productive and stable way to support revenue. And so that's not a long-standing way to keep a stable district. So thankfully, the Board of Education put forth an idea to me as superintendent: why not utilize the collaborative expertise of this amazing community to find alternative ways either to increase revenue or save on expenses? And not only did the board come up with that idea, they also came up with names of community members that they knew throughout the area that might help. So that is what happened. We formed a committee of community partners that have met 3 times, and the goal of that community partners, right on this slide, is to share with the Board of Education and myself ideas that lead to potentially out-of-the-box ways to increase revenue, as well as innovative ways to collaborate with businesses and universities and other entities to save on expenses, but keep or actually increase student opportunities. That's the goal of this group. 2 themes, again, increasing the revenue sources beyond state aid and property taxes, and developing partnerships. Those are the 2 main sub-goals to the focus of this group. This list of, I think, 29 names, somewhere between 28 and 29 names. This is every one of the community partners that showed up for at least one of the 3 meetings. And even some people that aren't on here that didn't come to the 3 meetings that were picked by the board ultimately gave a lot of information to us through phone calls and through surveys. So this is a testament to the level of commitment the Victor Central School District community has towards its schools, and these individuals have been amazing in their work to try to come up with ideas to support us outside the box of state aid and taxes. So now I'm going to call up James, who's going to talk a little bit about the work that the partner group did.
Hi, everybody. So the committee did meet 3 times over August, September, and October, and for 90 minutes each time, and within a large group, and then we broke into separate groups from that large group and had conversations as well. We did review the financial situation at the August meeting. Superintendent Terranova went into detail along with Assistant Superintendent Griffin. Yep, good memory. Also went into that meeting as well in detail on the situation, kind of gave us a survey, or I'm sorry, a lay of the land. And then we actually, after that, convened or dismissed and went into a kind of our own things with partner groups, but also a survey. And that's where really a lot of the ideas you're going to hear tonight came from, was that survey. And then meeting 2 in September is where we really got into the nuts and bolts. We reversed those as well. Do I just hit this? The next one? Yep. Community partners, we all kind of, again, we reviewed everything, refined as well. So I think it's important to know that as we start to present the 5 ideas to you tonight, we really did refine everything and really start to dig deeper into what can be actionable and what can work. We kind of took an A list and a B list, if you will, and that led down to obviously unanimously agreeing. So these 5 things that you're going to hear tonight, I'm actually going to cover, actually it's the next slide, I'm going to cover the first of the 5 as well here, but these are the 5 major ideas that were unanimously passed by the group. And I think the last committee meeting, we had a very good turnout in person for that. The 5 ideas here: legacy and major gift fundraising, other revenue streams, that are very creative, educational program partnerships, as Superintendent mentioned, universities, that type of thing, community education programming, and energy in facilities. And the legacy and major gift fundraising is actually really near and dear to my heart because it's what I do. The idea that we were thinking about really was centered around using a university-based model and college-based model. Oftentimes, as you know, my day job is at the University of Rochester for major gifts. Our alumni always expect our call, and they take the meetings because there is an affinity there. But we kind of were thinking about the idea of Victor, right? And Victor is unique in that it has the Victor Education Foundation as well. And, you know, I kind of think about like an MCC and MCC Foundation model, right? There's something similar there where there's a non-for-profit raising funds for the public school entity. So that actually is an idea there, just kind of as an analogy, just to kind of make you think about that. We were also thinking about tapping into our alumni network beyond just the $50, $100. We're thinking large gifts. We're thinking really starting to act and target the alumni that can actually help solve some of our problems, or challenges, I should say, with the financials. Venmo, obviously, easy donations, but also the class-specific liaison. This is where I think the important part is. One of the things that I was thinking, you can see here modeled after university fundraising, when our group was convening on that, we were actually thinking about annual giving days. We were also thinking about recurring annual funds. A lot of universities start even at $1,500 a year, and it's a 5-year pledge. So that's recurring revenue that's coming in that you can count on coming in. If they're donating it to a foundation, it's a tax advantage for that donor as well, right? So December is when you see that usually come in. So those are kind of the things. We were also thinking about donations from corporations and businesses for significant projects. One of the ones that was mentioned was the auditorium for elementary schools. And I think somebody in our committee actually had, or our little group had an idea, they got that from their family in North Carolina. Their school has the football stadium is named by Pepsi, is where their football stadium was built in South Park, Charlotte, North Carolina. So I think I'm going to hand it over to Dave next. Yeah. There you go.
Thanks, James. Dave Tantil, in case you don't know who I am. Thanks, Chris, for nominating me on this wonderful committee. It is actually a wonderful committee. A great group of folks led by Tim Thank you so much. But one of the ones, we got other revenues. Of course, they delegated me the slide for taxes. Who wants to pay taxes, right? Okay, I'll do the tax slide. So, here's a couple suggestions that the group came up with. Out of the box thinking, we realize it has to be vetted by legal department because, you know, some of this stuff, got to make sure it's legal or not. But what a great idea. So in the situation right here, here's a couple of proposed ideas. There's a few more that will be provided to you in your paperwork with regards to looking at your property tax bill. How many people go to retailers and they say, McDonald's, hey, do you want to round that up to give to the Ronald McDonald? So here's another concept. They get your property tax bill. Let's say your property tax bill is $6,990. Can you round it up? Can you round it up to $7,000, an extra $10? I know it sounds corny, but everyone kicking in a little $10 here and there. Once again, we got to vet it out to make sure it's legal. Another one was the county sales tax. So if you look at all the counties that touch us, so you got Monroe, Wayne, Livingston, Seneca, Yates, and Steuben. Does everyone know what the sales tax in those counties are? 8%, right? What's Ontario County? 7.5%. So here's an opportunity. We're not going to be able to share in the 7.5%. That's for the county governments. But what if we went from 7.5% to 8% and took that half a percentage as incremental revenues? So, well, is that a big deal? If you spend $100 at a store, you're paying 50 cents more. I mean, think about it. That's a half a percentage, 50 cents more. So why can't we do that? We'll have to vet that out. So there's some other examples too, but these are, once again, out of the box thinking. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Here we go. Another one is educational program partnerships. Once again, this is another one, creating programs that will be cost less than the typical school program, but result in the same better experiences for our kids. These experiences could lead to immediate employment. What are we talking about? We're talking about partnering with local businesses, local colleges to start focusing on trades or businesses out there or careers out there to help our students, put them in a position and partner with these institutions. And for example, the trades, you can never have enough trades. What can we do to help get people in the trades more? So surveying local businesses for their needs, asking them what's the most popular careers out there that we could partner with. Partnering with FLCC and 2- and 4-year colleges for dual enrollment credits, leveraging work-based learning programs to support more students involved in the workforce, charging tuition for out-of-district students to attend special programs. I mean, this is great. In the business world, data analytics. So anyone who asks me, hey, I don't know what I want to go to college for, there are businesses that want people to be data scientists or data analytics. They want to go and data mine, and they pay, all different types of businesses pay big dollars for this. So what could we do to partner with organizations to help put our students in a better position? So another great opportunity here with these educational program partnerships. Now I'm going to flip it over to Tim.
What happened here? Oh, there we go. What is this? The fourth idea is community education programming. There are many districts around our area that have a community education department. There's two real purposes to it. One is to align the use of our facilities, especially things like the aquatic center and our athletic fields, through one entity for after-school, weekend, summer activities, so that everyone is under the same umbrella in terms of those activities, and the money flows through one group, which in this case would be the community education department. A second piece to this would be to increase our availability of adult education courses and opportunities for the community, whether it's evening or on weekends or certainly in the summer. And you do those two things, and you don't cut out the town recreation department. We collaborate with the Victortown Recreation Department and other entities that are supporting some of these activities right now to make sure they're supported, but at the same time, we're able to raise revenue. It would be ultimately over time, it would be a self-sustaining entity that would have a director and a clerical person that would coordinate and organize everything, but ultimately be self-sustaining and increasing money to serve as a reserve to support the district partially each year that would add revenue to our budget. So it's something that other districts are doing. If the board decides to pursue this idea, we would certainly reach out to those districts, use the experts among us as well, partner with the town recreation department, and make sure that everyone's supported in this effort. So that's the fourth idea, community ed programming. Christine will do the next one.
Good evening. Our community partners group discussed the critical areas of strategic long-term energy self-sustainability and immediate electrical infrastructure challenges impacting the district. On the topic of energy self-sustainability, we reviewed concepts focused on reducing our long-term operational costs. Specifically, the discussion explored key energy, alternative energy, options including geothermal and solar energy. To ensure that these ideas are thoroughly vetted and integrated into our long-range strategy, we formalized the district's facilities committee, which met this afternoon at 4 o'clock. This committee is tasked with developing a 5-year facilities plan. It is multidisciplinary. It includes 2 board members, the superintendent, the director of facilities, myself, the architect, our architect, SWBR, our construction manager, campus construction, and representatives from various departments and buildings on campus, ensuring that all stakeholders' perspectives are included in this critical thinking. Members raised strong concerns that the current grid capacity provided by RG&E is dangerously insufficient and poses an impediment, potentially impacting our district's capital project, hindering housing expansion across Ontario County, and also hindering the state's mandate requiring school districts to transition to EV buses. We have a clear phased approach to advancing these major ideas generated by our community partners. The timeline is designed to ensure board oversight and structured work. The critical first step is securing the board's direction. After tonight's presentation of the major ideas, for the board's review and feedback, we aim to reach a final decision on which ideas to pursue at the December board meeting. Once the board makes that decision, we shift into the implementation phase. In January 2026, we will launch specialized subgroups drawn from relevant constituency groups to tackle the specifics of the approved concepts. These subgroups will then spend the next 5 months from January through May 2026 intensively operationalizing and detailing the concepts. Their work will culminate in a final progress report, which they will then deliver back to the board in June or July of 2026, outlining achievements and recommending final steps. Are there any questions from the Board of Education?
Questions from board members or student reps? Or comments?
I would just say thank you for the yeoman's job and the work that the committee and the groups, and I'm excited about the recommendations that they put forward for us to be able to review and make a decision on.
Anyone else?
Yeah, echoing. Thank you again for doing that. And it is kind of one of those situations where that brainstorming, it just comes up with more questions. So it's like a lot of stuff we need to kind of check out the legality and all of that aspect. So it's like it gets your mind racing. So I look forward to your efforts, but it does raise a lot of questions too.
I'm excited about the breadth of opportunity and pursuing some of them and seeing where it takes us. So thank you to the entire group and for the presentation this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Item 7C, Management Plan Update, Student Supports and Opportunities, the high school goals and updates. Mrs. Finter makes her way to the podium once more.
Hi, everyone. Karen Finter. I'm the Assistant Superintendent for Instruction. And on behalf of the high school team, it's my honor and privilege to share their update regarding their Year 4 management plan goals centered around the Student Supports and Opportunities pillar. So as you remember, our management plan really is that annual slice of our strategic plan centered around 3 goals. Throughout the year this year, you will hear from the different buildings as they present a slice or a snapshot into their work around culture, learning and instruction, and tonight's focus on student supports and opportunities, making sure that our student supports and opportunities so every student can achieve their full potential. As we unpack this year's management plan, there are really 2 areas that help frame the high school's work. Further identifying barriers to access to coursework, access to instructional supports, access to even attendance. And then using resources to monitor academics and social emotional progress to inform problem solving. So tonight you'll hear a bit around how the high school is really challenging these 2 areas within our management plan. So in their comprehensive goals, the high school really would like to ensure that every student has access to quality supports so that they can access the curriculum and the resources across the broader community. What we would expect to see once these goals are achieved is that kids feeling that sense of belonging and engaging fully within the connected school community. Over the summer, the team unpacked a tremendous amount of information. Data that informed their goals included information around chronic absenteeism, and that rate from last school year was 11%. They also looked at the gaps in proficiency, in particular looking across different subgroups, minority students, students with disabilities, and economically disadvantaged students. Although we acknowledge that AP scores are at an all-time high, AP participation is low in many of our subgroups, including minority students, students with disabilities, and economically disadvantaged students. And these elements are what the team really hopes to address throughout their goals, but you'll hear a little bit more about their work tonight. So just to give you a sense of where the team started, really kind of thinking about the ways that they look at data review in a very structured way. So there are some current processes in place to support how the building looks at data. It's a comprehensive high school with over 1,300 students. And so thinking about how could they look at data in a meaningful way to really help target where needs are. And so currently they engage in cohort progress reviews with student support teams and the director of special education. They use Panorama, which is a comprehensive tool that compiles data from multiple sources and graphically represents it so that it can be fully engaged with and people can understand really the information that they're looking at without having to manipulate a bunch of spreadsheets and numbers. And so those supports, those meetings, and that use of the tool really help to identify students targeted for support, and working within the building and that comprehensive high school, really ensuring that there are support teams that look specifically at areas of need, and teachers can access requests for assistance for students in a pretty seamless manner. So it's not a matter of, trying to figure out who to ask for help, but being able to go right to the source. Oop, too far. So the focus of Panorama has really helped to support the documentation of student needs, inputting student notes and supports so that the whole team can see progress that's being made. They're using Panorama for data sweeps, including reviewing attendance, credit accrual, behavioral needs, region exam needs, and scheduled supports, so that that information is at the fingertips, so that the team can really help to break down where the problems might be presenting themselves and get to a problem-solving process instead of spending all the time sifting through data. With 10-week data just in, the team will be closely reviewing it specifically for attendance, and some groups were created proactively to really monitor some of those high-level needs students in our BOOST program, online learning, the Targeted Assistance Program, TAP, and students with critical attendance needs. As the year goes on, you can see that the team has really developed a quarterly or trimester-based phase to support using Panorama, and so that with the goal that all staff will be able to access and look at that student information as it pertains to the students in front of them at that time, so they have a whole picture of where those student needs might be. And in particular, one of the areas that rose to the surface with this comprehensive data review is around attendance. And so the high school has been really working on a proactive and tiered system for identifying students that need support in improving their attendance. They identified some students over the summer to really use as kind of that case study to triage. It's a main driver, as we know, because if students are not in school, they're not able to achieve and they're not able to access some of the resources that can help them, and so it just becomes this spiral. And so this system helps to set a proactive call to action. And so in the summer, the PPS team met and reviewed the list of students to determine intervention needs. Is it just a monitor, or is it something where we have to engage with families, we have to develop a really proactive plan? And those plans were established, tracked, those family meetings were held, and there's some great work that's been happening. As I mentioned, those family meetings were held, and they're monitoring attendance right now. And so here are two examples. There was a 12th grade student last year who attended 72% of school days. Now, their current attendance rate is 90%. They did participate in a summer meeting with their parent, an administrator, and a school social worker, and they've been tracking their student attendance and the interventions, the check-ins that the team has been providing to that student to really maintain that positive attendance level. In addition, a 10th grade student attended 57% of school days last year, current attendance rate of 86%. They also participated in that summer meeting and were tracking the academic and attendance intervention in Panorama, and again, seeing the benefits of that close personal contact right from the start of the school year. So right now, as the first quarter draws to a close, our chronic absenteeism rate is about 5%, and the goal is to maintain it at that level. While we would love to have 100% attendance rate, we know that it's something that we have to monitor. We want students to be in school, to be able to engage fully and participate, and attendance is really an important factor in that. So in addition, the team is going to be doing some additional work this year, really communicating with parents around the benefits of attendance, sharing some data and some information, the correlation of proficiency and mastery to attendance, and using, on the internal side, using some of those intervention plans within Panorama to track student attendance. The additional place where the team is really trying to be proactive and think about student supports and opportunities is around AP and advanced coursework. And it certainly is wonderful, as I mentioned earlier this year, our AP participation in dual enrollment coursework is fantastic, but really kind of thinking about how students can maintain that, how we're not diminishing the importance of a senior year for students to take those challenging courses. And so the team is working to develop a recommendation process where students could be recommended for that right level of challenge so that even students can identify what they're interested in and challenging themselves as a part of the course registration. So it's not just, oh, you're going into 11th grade, these are the courses that you're taking, but rather really trying to figure out where student voice and choice could be, and also reaffirming a level of challenge from their teachers. And then one of the barriers that we thankfully have been able to remove this year is around the dual enrollment credit costs. We're able to offer those courses at no cost because of the COSER that BOCES has enacted. It does remove a barrier to many students, which is a wonderful thing, and we want to make sure that we're continuing to investigate those types of opportunities that the district can provide to our students. And then we want to make sure that we're also communicating to our families and our parents what some of these opportunities are. So ensuring that we're including the advanced coursework and all of the different varieties of it in our parent newsletters, making sure that faculty understand what some of those opportunities are beyond their discipline so that they can have conversations with students. And then we're also trying to think about what are the ways that we can support students during the school day so that they can receive the support they need to maintain and stay within those advanced courses. So are there Gemini or AP support sessions during activity period? Can we think of peer tutoring or peer coaching partnerships with students that may have challenged an AP or an advanced course prior to that school year? So really kind of investigating some of those opportunities, but looking to maintain and enhance the enrollment in these courses for all kids. And so I thank you for your time and attention and the opportunity to share on behalf of the high school tonight. Any questions on the work?
Go ahead, Carol. That's okay. Just a couple things. When you talk attendance, is it just full day attendance, or if they're late and they miss the first block, is that caught somewhere?
Yeah, so right now that attendance is full day. We can slice and dice some of the attendance data to look at, the number of tardies and that sort of thing, but the team is really focused on that full day attendance.
Okay. Yeah, because I do feel like just in my history of driving my son up when he was late, there were a lot of cars pulling in, and it wasn't always just, late arrival. So that is a niche of kids that are just maybe skipping one class, or, if we are, our start times are too early or something. So eventually down the road, one more thing to look. And I do like the idea of that partnering with peers, because just with my own kids, I know a lot of times, knowing what courses to take, it was that discussion at the lunch table or the discussion with friend groups. So if there's a way to kind of push into those friend groups and say, hey, APs, aren't that bad, or it's okay if you don't pass it, it's better to learn in a comfortable environment. Or just the fact that, if you're really into going to X, Y, and Z college, they're going to look at what Victor offers. And if you didn't take what we have to offer, that kind of looks, that they look at that in your application too. Mm-hmm. So some of those inside kind of things, mm-hmm. I wish you luck in trying to get that in. I like the idea of peer support. But thank you for all you're doing.
From the standpoint of, we just heard about, ways to generate alternate revenue streams for the district, and we're coming into the budget season mm-hmm. and putting the budget agenda together. As the improvements and the strides that the district has made, and kudos to that with the drop in absenteeism, and thank you for the specificity of that question. are we positioned right now from a budgetary standpoint to maintain and to achieve those? So from a resource standpoint, does the district, should you be asking us for more in support? Are you good at the status quo to be able to feel confident enough that, yes, we can keep moving in that direction? Or the real reach is, are you feeling that you are so well equipped that the district, in being mindful of financial concerns, should be saying, okay, well, the resources being put into this were put in heavily to make this impact. Do we need to maintain that high level of it, or can that be redirected, still maintain that, and put additional or shift those resources to another area of need? If that's a long question, but does that make sense?
I kind of want to answer D, all of the above.
Okay.
So I think a couple of things, and I certainly can't speak fully for the high school team, because they live some of the data practices and their IST supports and the interventions that they're putting in place. They live them and can speak, I think, a little more directly to some of your question. But I think no matter what our process is, we're always looking at how do we refine, how do we make it better, how can we be efficient with our practices. Sometimes it's not just more, but it's also thinking about our efficiencies, right? The data review process, prior to really their focus on that this year, it was a little bit of whack-a-mole, right? There would be similar conversations happening, and the kids might be the same kid coming up, but now we're talking about attendance, and then a few weeks from now we're talking about their grades, and then a few weeks from now we're talking about behavior. And so instead of trying to look at those things in isolation, an efficient way to do it, and using a tool that we have access to, and it provides a great foundation, they're able to do that in a more efficient way that is yielding positive effects. So I think it's a little bit of both. I think one of the things that Christine and I are working on is around the idea of these COSERs and how to leverage the COSERs to support the great work that's happening, not just with our Gemini courses, but other dual enrollment courses and even AP, and thinking about some additional COSERs that could tap into the cost of APs, because I know that that's a barrier. And that might be a conversation, Dr. Parks, where we have to talk a little more about what's our initial outlay for that and what would that yield us in return, and what opportunities it would provide for students. So it's a little bit of D, all of the above, but know that we're consistently trying to use what we have, refine what we have to be efficient, and look for new opportunity too.
Thank you. And you feel that you are being fully supported?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Are there any other questions or comments? Thank you so much. All right, item 7D, capital project updates.
Thank you. So tonight we have Mark Madalena from SWBR, our architects, and George Spinaris from Campus Construction Management, who will be here to present on an update for the capital project. Things are moving forward, and we're hitting different milestones, and you're soon going to be seeing more activity on campus as we get bids in and we award bids, and construction starts this spring. So I'm going to leave it to them to give you the detail of all of that.
See if I work this well. Okay. Well, this is our agenda for this portion of tonight's discussion. We'll give you an update on Phase 1 and Phase 2 work. George will talk a little bit more about the budget and project schedule. Our capital project themes, we have shared them before, but they're profound. Safety and security, building renovations and innovation, facility repairs and additions based on enrollment and space needs. The Phase 1 work at the early childhood school will include PA and clock upgrades. That's a campus-wide upgrade to the PA and clock system, so it's a common theme through these. The Phase 2 work at early childhood school includes air conditioning added to the cafeteria and gymnasium. At the primary school, PA and clock upgrades for Phase 1, and Phase 2, air conditioning added to the cafeteria and gymnasium. The intermediate school, Phase 1 will include PA and clock upgrades, but also 31,000 square feet of roofing restoration. And then Phase 2 will include air conditioning in the cafeteria and gymnasium, as well as a visitor parking lot at Field 16, 116 spaces. That is scope that was moved from Phase 3. Proposed construction will start in spring of 2026, concurrent with Phase 1, and that is to ensure that we don't have parking loss in the course of all this construction work. Phase 1 at the junior and senior high school will include PA and clock upgrades, a turf field at field number 7 with ADA accessible sidewalk and fencing. And facility repairs will include 94,000 square feet of roofing restoration. In Phase 2, the junior senior high school, under the theme of safety and security, is replacing the kitchen sanitary system, creating secure vestibules at both the junior and senior high school, relocating the main offices as part of that. Unused junior high school locker room becomes an athletics office. In facility repairs, we're adding a clay trap in the art room. Building renovation and innovations includes air conditioning, again, in your cafeteria and gymnasium, and we're relocating health clinics. Additions based on enrollment and space needs, we are adding 17 instructional spaces between the junior and senior high school, and 19,000 square feet of an addition to the junior cafeteria. You'll see that in the rendering here. The Victor Learning Center is a complete renovation of the old building. You'll see an exterior image here and a before photo. We're adding a little bit more green space in front as well, but big improvements to the tutoring classrooms inside. And then the Operations Center, we're very excited about this piece. We're adding a CTE automotive program in the old bus garage. So when the new bus garage was created, this space was left vacant. It's being revitalized and made into a CTE classroom to support technical education.
Nice to see everybody again. So first phase, or the themes for the budget in Phase 1 is safety and security, PA systems. That's going to be a little over $2.5 million. Building renovations and innovations, close to $8 million. Facility repairs, campus-wide roofing repairs, a little over $2.8 million. So the total amount for the Phase 1 scope of work is $13,328,523. So Phase 2, building additions, the cafe classroom additions is just a tad over $23 million. That's the bulk of the project. Building renovations at $15 million. Campus-wide site work, which includes sidewalks, roadways, bleachers, $3.8 million. HVAC scope, moved from Phase 3, is $2.6 million. So the total for the Phase 2 is a little over $44.5 million. The bulk of the work is in Phase 2. So here's a project schedule. Advertisement of bidders for Phase 1 was sent out October 3rd. So that's already, the documents have already hit the street. So the addenda for bids to be issued for Phase 1 is November 24th. So the contractors are going to be looking at the drawings, and then if they have any pre-bid RFI questions, they have to be answered by the 24th. Bid opening is on December 4th. Then we'll de-scope after that, and then breaking ground for Phase 1 sometime in January. with the fields shortly to follow thereafter, sometime in the spring. We just want to make sure it's not too wet, otherwise we can create more damage to the areas. So that's our schedule for Phase 1. Phase 2, schematic design, that's already been completed. Design development for Phase 2, that was submitted on June 27th. So the construction documents for Phase 2 is ongoing, which we intend, or the architects intend on submitting to SED on December 19th. Anticipated breaking ground for Phase 2 is September of 26. And then as that is happening, Phase 3 design work will also commence and start in early 26, right after they complete the drawings and submit on December 19th. And then we're looking into solar and PV study for that was requested from the Board of Education. So we've commissioned the engineers to take a look at the potential for something like this. Perfect. Segue in. Any questions?
Where's the chocolate river and the fountain going?
Let's see. It's going in Dr. Key's office. Invitation.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate these updates. They're wonderful. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Any other questions?
Just if on the, you're checking for solar, the option of solar. The other one would be geothermal.
Yes.
If you can add that.
And we did. When the solar question came up, we made sure we asked our engineers about geothermal too. There is a report on solar underway. It was not ready for prime time at all. We haven't received it yet. But when we do, I'm optimistic next month we'll be able to report back.
Right. Yeah, I just figure while we're digging up the whole area, let's look at the other options too. So, great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Keep digging. Is that what you're saying?
If you're digging all up, let's put some geothermal and put some pipes. Yeah.
Any other questions or comments?
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, moving along. Item 7E, we have some trip approvals. The Seas Club to Lake George, New York from March 6th to March 8th of this coming spring. Varsity Boys Lacrosse to Fort Lauderdale, Florida from March 30th to April 3rd. We received the itineraries for both of these trips. May I please have a motion to approve these two field trips?
So moved.
Mr. Snyder, can I have a second? Second? Okay. Are there any questions or comments before we have a vote? All right, that being...
I got one real quick.
Sure.
I just wanted to say thank you. I know a lot of the boys, the senior boys, brought this up and showed some leadership, getting some of these trips approved, specifically for lacrosse. Thanks to the boosters and Coach Stone for getting this thing into the end zone. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Snyder. Any other questions or comments? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Approving the trips? Okay. Any, oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. Any opposed? Thank you, Dr. Parks. Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried for both trips. Have a wonderful time. We'd love to see pictures. Thank you. And be safe, yes. And bring that sunshine back to us too from sunny Fort Lauderdale. We'll need it at that point in the early spring in Victor, New York. Item 8, meeting reports. A, Monroe County School Board Association committee reports. Does anybody have any info to share out? I know Mrs. Kostecki is away on business this month. I have an upcoming district operations committee meeting next week on Wednesday, so I'll be happy to share at the December meeting. Are there any meeting reports for standing committees?
We did have our facilities committee meeting today.
You guys are pulling in a long afternoon and evening, Mr. Snyder and Mrs. Prescott.
But it was very interesting. We we are looking at, the conditions, part of the capital project, what's going to be addressed there. So we had a quick sneak peek of the updates there. But then there are also other repairs around the district that are needed and that are not in this capital project. So kind of you're getting a little quick tidbit on those. We will, next year, we are due for that 5-year building condition survey. So that'll be happening next year. And then we're also needing to, as a committee, look at our 5-year planning. So like, what we're looking at for the next 5 years, and then that would be updated annually.
Great, thank you.
Very excited. Thank you very much for getting it going. I know I would.
Thank you, Mrs. Prescott. Any other standing committee updates?
Athletics Hall of Fame, and it's Friday, December 5th. Friday we will have it. It'll be at the Performing Arts Center.
Great.
Meet and greet.
All right.
17:30 and 1800 we'll be having the ceremony. So
Very
it'll be,
good.
Stay tuned for any further announcements.
Make sure it gets on our calendar. Thank you so much for that update. And we had our graduates of distinction tonight. Great job, Mr. Adams, for getting it going this evening as our MC. Absolutely. Any other standing committee updates?
I do want to shout out to Liz Welch for her leadership with the graduates of distinction as well. It was, I'm not sure, I don't see her here, but I'm not sure that I could have done this without her. So I want to give kudos there, and thank you so much for all her assistance and help there.
Thank you for those comments. Item 8C, NYSBA Convention Update. In the spirit of being succinct, I saw Mrs. Prescott sent out her very thorough notes on her sessions that she attended. Mine are to come, but Mrs. Kostecki, Mrs. Prescott, and I attended the convention in end of October in New York. Just very briefly, so many different topics, student mental health, policy, making policy engaging and accessible. We had some dignity index information that I know Mrs. Kostecki emailed to all of our board while we were in New York, but we're happy to discuss that further. Lots and lots of different sessions that all three of us attended. So my notes are forthcoming. And Mrs. Prescott, if you wanted to add any comments.
I really find it very informative, and I'm very grateful that we were allowed to go. And it was kind of like a divide and conquer. There are definitely more sessions than the three of us could attend. I highly suggest a little positive peer pressure here. Next year it's in Buffalo, if anybody can make it to any part of it. It's just a nice opportunity to see other districts and talk with people and kind of take some of their best practices. And so I encourage everybody to try to pencil in some time next October to go to Buffalo.
And I did want to highlight our colleagues at Fairport had an outstanding session on AI policy and what they're doing to get things underway in their district. So that was it was good to support colleagues locally and to just see, what they're doing. And Mrs. Kostecki and Mrs. Prescott and I met with Dr. Terranova late last week, early this week, late last week, to share a lot of information with him. So thank you for making that time for us too. We appreciate that. Item 9, upcoming events. I've passed the 9 o'clock mark, but we're going to be speedy on this. 9A, next week, our junior high building visit, the first one of our academic year, Wednesday, November 19th, 7 a.m. If you're able to attend or not, let's make sure that we communicate that between now and maybe early weekend, just so we can plan on how many people will be attending. I think that will help building leadership to plan our visit for those who are able to attend. Our next regular board meeting will be held December 11th in the Early Childhood School auditorium and boardroom, beginning at 7:15 p.m. And as Mrs. Selleck let everybody know to bring calendars, we need to discuss change in our scheduled board meeting for January 15th. There is a conflict, I believe, with the Wizards game, which is a big PTSA-sponsored event. So if everybody has their calendars, it would be great to figure out an alternate meeting date tonight? Because we have to post it.
We do, and we were looking at maybe Tuesday that week because the Wednesday there is a chorus concert at the intermediate school when we would normally move a day prior. So if folks have availability to have the full regular board meeting on Tuesday, January 13th, that seemed like based on the district calendar, what might be a good option. It does not conflict with district known events currently.
If there's anyone who's not sure, or just with our two colleagues who are not present tonight, if we could give a hard yes or no just for availability, would you be okay with Saturday, Sunday? What would you like? What works for you?
Yeah, if we can look at those calendars and let me know by Monday, that would be great, and we can publicize it for the community
for January
if it needs to be moved.
Tuesday the 13th. Yes.
I'm just going to let you know now I'm good. I was going to shampoo my carpets that night, but I'll move it.
Make it.
I think it'll be all right.
Plan ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have two.
I'm fine also, but just for Mr. DeLucia and Mrs. Kostecki.
Yeah.
We'll
So
get
that we
them
can.
as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. All right, item 10, our motion to adjourn.
Can I just offer one more shout out to Kim Dole, who does incredible work with everything that we see visually, as well as the printed materials, as well as a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. So I just wanted to give that shout out on the website. Launched this year. It's great. People find it very usable. So I just wanted to publicly give you that shout out. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Adams.
Thank you.
Anything else for the good of the order before we adjourn? All right, may I have a motion to adjourn this meeting? Mrs. Prescott, can I have a second?
I just want to stay here. Sure, second.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Parks. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Thank you, and have a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday with your family and friends.